Welcome, Mainland Australia Tasmanian Tiger fans, or Thylacine fans I should say. My name's Michael Moss, independent researcher since 1995 on Mainland Australia for the Tasmanian Tiger. And for you mainland fans and the people that are looking for them on the mainland, and this is not for people in Tasmania or people that visit Tasmania that look for nothing, where there are no Tasmanian tigers. There haven't been since 1936, and it's scientifically not possible, despite what the spin doctors and their little pathetic little industry in Tassie that they got going around the tiger would like you to believe. Big tourism con if you ask me, but it's the mainland where the mammal surveys haven't been done. I'll put some links up for you. I won't go into my research in depth. I'll put some links up, including my recent podcasts, and you can have a look there. The reason we're here today, or I'm on here today, is because I've come across the best caller that I've come across in 20 years of using these predator callers. It's this baby here. It's called the GHOSTRUNNER. I wasn't aware of this. It's new to Australia, or newish. If you go to the website, that'll back it up. I just stumbled across it. It's been about 3 years in Northern America and Europe, used to very great effect. And yeah, it's polycomposite or whatever. I think I got that wrong, but it's very solidly built. And it's a closed reed. And it's the mylar reed. M-Y something or other spelled, and it makes a slightly different sound to anything else that I've used in these predator callers. And I attracted a feral cat. I've only had it for about a week. If you go to I'll put a link to the website. It's the company I got it from is in Traralgon, Gippsland, Victoria, Mainland Australia, state of Victoria, Mainland Australia. And if you click on the icon there, you'll be able to hear the sound it makes. And I'll also put up another link to a guy in Canada that's used this successfully, a bit of a macho man there in the snow. He will show you how to use it. It's pretty easy. I mean, if I can use it, anyone can use it, I can tell you that. So yeah, polycarbonate, that's the word, that's what this is. And it's who cares, because the main thing is it's the sound. And so yeah, thoroughly recommend this. As I said, I had a feral cat come out. I've had fox, and you know, it is used overseas to attract cat, fox, dog. So you know, any predator, including a Tasmanian tiger, you would think would come out to at least have a look. So yeah, so GHOSTRUNNER. I'll be cranking this up. I've also had there's an environmental DNA breakthrough a few years ago. I'll put a link up to my podcast there, so you can have a look about all of that information. And it's interesting because I'm still getting alleged sightings of Tasmanian tigers coming through. About 2 weeks ago, actually, a week before last, I got a call from a gentleman down at Warrnambool in the far southwest of Victoria, country Victoria, and on mainland Australia, of course. And he claims to have seen a Tasmanian tiger in the far northern suburbs of Melbourne, in a place called Warrandyte. He saw an article that I was in with my phone number, and that's about it. That article was about 10 years old. You can actually see it yourself there. And he contacted me, claiming to have seen him. He was driving about just before COVID hit, 2019, and fairly late at night. And he said it just came out in front of him, and he got a good look at it. And it's interesting. I get a lot of this cross, you know, people cross Victoria side, cross Australia sightings. People call me from other areas unrelated to, you know, to where they live. And they claim they've seen it there and there, and it backs up what locals in the area, because Warrandyte, which is an outer suburb of Melbourne, there was a spate of sightings, and one of the rangers, the Parks Victoria rangers, did the right thing. He actually wrote the sightings down. A lot of them are just ignored. We'll never know because they're a monopoly, Parks Victoria, and totally incompetent, as the country Victorians know. Same with the rest of the national parks. It's a job for life. It hasn't been reformed. The great reform kick of Australia never kicked into these monopolies. And, you know, their vegetation management's terrible. They've had 100 years of monopoly, various names, to basically, you know, it's a dog track, to get, you know, to get their act together. Or wallaby, but anyway, it doesn't worry me because I don't go by tracks, I just go by if they come out. But anyway, go by flushing them out with this. Anyways, it's there was a spate of sightings at Warrandyte, about 20 of them he documented, and I took out a Freedom of Information request, and it's the only reason I found out this information, and gave it to the media who did the articles on it. And yeah, but the ranger said it, and listen to this, said it was a case, he explained it away as these people claiming to see Tasmanian tigers, and as I just told you, there's still alleged sightings coming from that catchment. He said it was a case of mass sociogenic illness, socio-something illness, which was even a new one by me. I've heard of every other excuse coming from these lazy state government, you know, staff, you know, to explain away these, whether it's Tassie tigers or big cats or whatever sightings. They try to explain it away. What they don't tell you is they haven't done enough mammal surveys, and it's scientifically possible on the mainland to actually, for these things to exist. Unlike Tasmania, as I said, where the place has been hundreds of searches, it's been mammal surveyed to the absolute Schneisenhausen, and you won't, you know, you get no hope. But anyway, back to the mainland. So, you know, you do get a lot of this sort of, and it's interesting that on the other side of Melbourne, if you look at a map, and there's a road that goes through there, EastLink, from Warrandyte from one end, or towards Warrandyte from one end. It stops towards there, or goes around there, well before, a couple of suburbs before, but EastLink goes right down to Cranbourne, well, heading towards, that's not Cranbourne, Frankston South or whatever, and Frankston West, and that connects up to a spate of sightings that have been, well, it's been going on for decades, but I've been focusing more on that over the last decade. And the EastLink used to be just a reservation up until road reservation up until 2008, until they started building it. And it was interesting that right along that EastLink, I got alleged sightings, or close to the start and end of it, and through the middle of it, a couple of alleged sightings in suburbs, like the police paddocks in Dandenong. I had another gentleman who contacted me, Dandenong resident, claiming that he saw a Tasmanian tiger he was travelling one night across the reservation there, because it was just, you know, it was just obviously just, you know, vacant land until the, you know, the road went in. And he said he saw a Tasmanian tiger crossing that EastLink reservation about 1 o'clock in the morning. So what I'm getting at is that there was a real chance before that EastLink reservation went in that Tasmanian tigers were connecting from one end of Melbourne to the other. They were going right through the metropolitan area. There's a very real possibility. And they were connecting from one end of the metro area to the other via the EastLink reservation. And you know, I had other sightings at Doncaster East on Doncaster Road, heading up towards Warrandyte, and then Park Orchards, and then you got Warrandyte. So it's all connected. And also at Ringwood, I had another alleged sighting, Nunawading. So it just makes me wonder if that's just all a coincidence, or that these things were travelling that EastLink. I've never really told anyone this, because it seems totally absurd that these things could be travelling through Melbourne. But you've got to remember, they don't know they're rare or whatever, these things. So, as you can see here. There's a lot of water. There's still water everywhere. And unfortunately for when I started off with this environmental DNA, it was really dry, and I was hoping the lack of water would help me out and would narrow the odds of me coming across a Tassie tiger, because you can now test for water for DNA. It's a real-time measure. But unfortunately it has not. It has literally not stopped raining since about 2 weeks after that probe was created. So it's just completely stuffed what I wanted up, because it's quite expensive still, like most new technology, to get it processed. But anyway, you can go to their website, EnviroDNA. They're in Melbourne, capital of Victoria. So anyway, tiger fans, I do recommend this. And GHOSTRUNNER, it's another tool in the toolbox, along with EnviroDNA. I don't bother with cage traps with Tasmanian Tiger for obvious reasons. I'm not going to go anywhere near that. But I will use these. And in November '98, I've actually have no doubt I come across a Tasmanian Tiger. But that's more, you can have a listen to that on my podcasts. You've probably seen the video on YouTube. So you have a nice day, and I'll keep you posted.